Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko number 121A mill finish aluminum interlocking threshold. This is just a sample piece of the item for purposes of this video, and the 121 threshold is available in, let's talk about the finishes first. The A stands for mill aluminum finish. And that's what this is. That's what the aluminum looks like when it is extruded at the mill. It's available in the D finish for dark bronze anodized aluminum, and then the G finish for gold anodized aluminum as well. So 3 finishes on that single base material. This is an interlocking threshold, is what it is. A very elegant way to seal the bottom of your door. An interlocking threshold is generally a 2-piece system or maybe a 3-piece system. What I've got here is really a 2-piece system. And what I mean by that is you're going to have the threshold itself, and then you'll have the included hook strip included. This is a J hook, and you can see, if you use your imagination, you can see why we call it a J hook. Made of steel, and it's got a white coat galvanized finish on it. A 3-piece system could include a water pan that would go below the threshold, and is basically just a thin piece of sheet metal that would sit underneath a threshold like this. For purposes of helping any water that got below the threshold not pool and collect and ultimately damage the sill condition. Now on a threshold like this, a water pan would be very unusual to use because there is no principle, because of the height of this threshold, for a water return. When you have a taller interlocking threshold, there would be a weep hole drilled right here with notches filed in the face, so that any water that got in the what would be the trough would collect down below and then feed itself out, and that's where a water pan would come in. This threshold, because it's so small, you're not going to see a water return. Therefore a water pan, but you can certainly order that if you like. Now, the hook strip, this is going to be attached to the bottom of your door. This will be nailed down to the bottom of the door, just like this, so that when the door closes, it's going to make this positive mechanical seal, as you see. And when the door opens and closes, this is how it's going to work, making it a very elegant way to seal the bottom of the door, that's for sure. A very positive mechanical seal that's really going to trap the intrusion of air, certainly water. Water is going to, be challenged to get under, in, and around that. What some people will do, most of the time, what you're going to see is the material, the hook, I should say, attached, I'm just going to make a quick sketch, attached directly to the bottom of the door, so that it's going to look like the very poor and crude sketch that I have here. Okay, so it'll look like that. I mean, the hook strip's not going to be hanging off. You're going to center it, obviously, under your door. You wouldn't see that, but that's the principle. Now, another way to do this would be for you to, and it's not uncommon to do it this way either, would be for you to create a notch on the bottom of the door so that it'll look like this, so that you've got an additional inside corner. And what that will really allow you to do is to drop that door down below here and get it real close to this area here, and you're not going to see much of that threshold at all. Not uncommon to do this, and you'll certainly find custom entrances that are certainly not insignificant in cost or magnitude or elegance themselves be done that way. You'll see it that way all the time. Generally, however, you're going to see it just nailed to the bottom of the door without any sort of notching done. Now, having said that, let's take a look at, let's talk about this concept a bit further. Dimensional properties. That's important to take note of. Okay, now there is an image below this video showing the important dimensional properties of this item, and let's take a look at that now. 3-inch overall width, and then it's 5/8 overall height. Now this is going to make a very common sort of threshold that you could use very effectively in an area where you don't want or need a very deep threshold. This is 3-inch. It's small. It's certainly among the smallest possible in an interlock, if not the smallest possible. Well, no, you can do smaller. Where would you use this? Attached garage door would be great. Side door of a home that comes in off the driveway. Basement door would be great for this as well because you get a great positive seal below grade. That'd be great. You don't need anything wide at all. You want it just to occupy the space underneath the door itself. So that's where you're going to see an interlock like this. Sure, you can have a wider one where you've got a sill condition like you would on the entrance of a home, but if you've got that door installed right down onto concrete and the jamb is whatever the jamb is, you don't necessarily need the threshold to be the entire depth of the jamb. You can get away with something smaller. You don't want a lot hanging into the opening. Don't need a lot hanging out of the opening. So a 3-inch could be very complementary. 5/8 is a great complementary height to a condition where you don't have a lot or a high step to get over the item either. Okay, so this can fit a confluence of needs very, very well based on its rather petite footprint. Now, having said that, the elegant side is that you're going to get that incredibly positive seal. Now, it certainly wouldn't be considered very efficient when it comes to the transfer of energy from aluminum to steel, but it's sure going to stop dead in its tracks the intrusion of air, moisture. Now here in Chicago, that's crucial to be able to stop that. And here you're going to see interlocking thresholds installed in countless installations. The home I grew up in, the home the home we all grew up in, where I'm from, all had interlocking thresholds. Now, there's other parts of the country that want this sort of a threshold, but not for that. They want it because I'll get a call from a client and says, you know, I got a problem with things getting underneath my door. And I'm thinking rain, water, air. No, scorpions. Okay. Well, here in Chicago, that's not a problem, but in Arizona it is. And this is sure going to prevent a critter from getting under your door. That's just the bottom line. Okay. That's an elegant reason to consider this threshold certainly as well. Now, the only downside really of an interlock threshold is if you were to damage the hook strip, and they do or can get damaged. You can, let's say you take the door off to paint it or to move a couch in, and then you take the door and you set it down onto the ground and you crush the hook strip. That's possible, it happens. Or let's say that over time with significant use, the hook strip can get fatigued where the nails, and this will include nails, pierce through the material itself. You will see a fatiguing to that installation over time because it's that over the years, the thousands and thousands of cycles of doing this are going to make that hole ovalize. It'll start to move potentially a little bit. Then it doesn't fit well, and then it's ill-fitting, and then it becomes dented or damaged as a result. Or you've got a shoe in front of the door, and you push it, and you kind of crimp the J-hook a little bit, making it not fit very well. Don't force it. You're going to want to fix the problem. Now, the good news is you can buy this. It's easy. This part number is Z61. Z for zinc, 61. Easy to buy, a hook strip only. They're very inexpensive. Now, having said that, you can also do a hook strip that will, it's called an L, it's an L-shaped hook strip. So that's going to give away the drawing here, but just to show you how it works. Now, why would you want an L shape? Well, you might want an L shape because you don't want to take the door off the hinges, is the bottom line. To install a threshold and interlocking, you do have to unhang the door, but if you don't want to or can't for whatever reason, you can order separately an L-shaped, disregard the use of the J-hook that you'll get, and then you'll be able to install that technically without taking the door down, assuming that you're in a good undercut position with the material, the undercut that's been done on the door. Okay. Now, moving forward, should you have any trouble with the hook strip, you can replace it easily. Not a big deal. We talked about the different finishes now. There's different profiles of this material, and one thing that I like to do is pull up the manufacturer's catalog, of which you can get to from the link below this video to the manufacturer's page, and you can pull up the full line catalog, and I've got it here on this screen. You'll partially get the concept. When I pull that catalog up and I just do a Control F or a find function for the 121 part number, I can scroll through and get to the different types of interlock thresholds. And no, I'm not really showing it to you in this video, but the point is, you can get the catalog and look at all the other profiles that are available to you in terms of an interlock threshold. Now, the length. This is in the site, and everything from 2 foot to 8 foot, and you can certainly have longer than 8 foot, but we don't list it because the cost to transport is disproportionately large because it can't go package service. So, and if you need longer than 8 foot, reach out to us and we'll quote the shipping charge. If you have need for a custom length, by all means let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces, and simply indicate in the comment field the length you'd like for us to ship the material out at. The reasoning is, we could save you the trouble of having to cut it in the field. Now, if this was the genuine article, it'd have a countersink about 4 inches from the end, and then symmetrical down the length of the threshold. If you were to take a 36-inch piece and cut it down to 32, you'd likely eliminate that countersink. So if you ordered let's say that you needed 32 1/4, indicate that in the comment field. We'll not only cut it to length and give you that clean factory edge, locate that first countersink at the proper distance from the edge and the proper center to center as well. This will also be trimmed. It's likely that you might have to nip this a little bit, however, because I'm less confident. You know, if you're saying I need 32 5/16 exact, the factory's they're going to be incredibly close. However, they might be at 32 3/8, that sort of scenario. So plan for having to trim this. This can be easily cut with a hacksaw should you need to, and it's possible that you won't need to. In residential construction, generally, they're not worried about a 16th. Everything is margined in the thickness of a carpenter's pencil, so it may not be an issue. So if you have custom length requirement, order the next longest piece, indicate that. That's how we'll send it out to you. Finally, there's a link below this video to that manufacturer's page in the site, where you can review not only all the Pemko products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as that full product catalog. If you have more than an occasional need for weather stripping, familiarize yourself with the Pemko book, because their product line represents the greatest, broadest spectrum of available products under one company's banner that exists. If Pemko doesn't have it, it's likely that what you need can't be got easily. However, Pemko can custom manufacture lots of different things, meaning they have incredible custom capability. So if you have need for something custom that you can't get out of their book, feel free to reach out to us. If you have any questions on the Pemko 121A mill finish aluminum interlocking threshold or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.